Hey, what's going on, guys and gals? I hope you're having an awesome day today. Welcome to our top 10 list of the fastest road legal motorcycles in the world. Most motorcycles above 600cc are fast. Even my 2003 Honda CBR 600RR is capable of over 160 miles per hour and can outrun almost any car on the street. But what are the fastest out there? This list is only going to include fully stock motorcycles that are road legal and that you can actually buy from new today. Concept bikes, race bikes and modified bikes will not be included, although I will be giving further merit to certain motorcycles that are better platforms for even higher performance than their stock forms, just to make things a little more interesting. I'm also only going to include motorcycles that have internal combustion engines, rather than bikes that are electric powered. Take these top 10 speeds with a pinch of salt, as reports vary their top speeds in different conditions and certain tests. Number 10. The Aprilia RSV4 1100. The Aprilia RSV4 1100 is a beautiful looking motorcycle with a beast under the tank. It has a 4-cylinder 1099cc engine that produces 214 horsepower and 92 foot-pounds of torque, or 125 newton meters. It has a recorded standing quarter mile time of 10.1 seconds and a 0 to 60 time of 2.9 seconds. Its top speed was recorded at 180 miles per hour. However, other reports suggest that it's capable of hitting upwards of 186 miles per hour. That's a pretty fast machine. Number 9. The Ducati Penigale V4. Ducati's Penigale V4 is one of the most well-known and desired motorcycles out there, and it just so happens to be one of the fastest. The 2020 model has an 1100cc 4-cylinder engine that produces 211 horsepower and 92 foot-pounds of torque, or 124 newton meters. It has a standing quarter mile time of 10.3 seconds and a 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, almost identical to the Aprilia RSV4. The Penigale's top speed estimates vary from 180 to 203 miles per hour. However, it was recorded a top speed of 184 miles per hour. It probably does have even more to give if you gave it enough of a runway. In all honesty, it's too close to call between the Penigale V4 and the RSV4. You could put either of them in the number 9 slot. Now, the next 5 on the list can be interchanged with each other as they all have very similar top speeds, and I'm pretty sure some of them, if not all, are electronically limited. So I've taken into account what these next machines would be capable of without any of their restrictions. Number 8. The Kawasaki ZX10R. Now we're starting to hit the big Japanese bikes with the Ninja ZX10R. If you've been shopping around for a leader bike, then you've probably heard of this one. This beast has a 998cc 4-cylinder that produces 200 horsepower and 85 foot-pounds of torque, or 115 newton meters. The standing quarter mile time for the ZX10R is 10.1 seconds and a 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. It has a recorded top speed of 186 plus miles per hour. However, again, as mentioned earlier, this is electronically limited to the top speed set by all the Japanese manufacturers after the speed wars that happened between the late 90s and mid-2000s. The ZX10R is still an awesome machine, restricted or otherwise. Number 7. The Yamaha YZF R1. Yamaha are renowned for producing some of the best motorcycles we've ever seen. However, they are not known for crazy speed machines as all the other Japanese motorcycle brands. However, their R1 is the baddest and fastest motorcycle Yamaha produce. Otherwise known as just the Yamaha R1, similar to the other Japanese motorcycles in this class, it has a 998cc 4-cylinder that produces 197 horsepower and 83 foot-pounds of torque, or 112 newton meters. The 2017 R1 has a recorded standing quarter mile time of 10.1 seconds and a 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. It's worth noting that the 2019 R1M, Yamaha's more track-focused version of the R1, is capable of a 9.8 second quarter mile and a 2.6 second 0 to 60. The R1M is also road legal. However, it's likely that the 2021 R1 will have the same, if not better times than the R1M. The R1's top speed is limited to 186 miles per hour. However, that is nowhere near what this bike is capable of. this machine is more than likely able to do well over 200 miles an hour when de-restricted. Number 6. The Suzuki GSXR 1000R. This motorcycle is a favourite among drag racers, as in traditional fashion, Suzuki have built an engine that can take a lot of punishment. Drag racers just love putting turbos on the GSXR 1000. Some have been able to get over 700 horsepower out of one of these things. Drag racing aside, a stock GSXR 1000 has a 998.6cc 4-cylinder that produces 200 horsepower and 86.7 foot-pounds of torque, or that's 117.6 in newton meters. It has a recorded standing quarter-mile time of 10.2 seconds and a 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. Its top speed is also limited to 186 miles per hour in its stock form, but come on, everyone knows it has way more to give, especially with a turbo. Some crazy people have gotten over 220 miles per hour on a turbo GSXR 1000. Number 5. BMW's S1000RR. Even though BMW motorcycles don't have the best reputation for reliability, their S1000RR is still a marvel and is well deserving of the attention it receives. Even in stock form, this machine will beat out almost any other bike out there. The specs of the 2021 S1000RR are a 999cc 4-cylinder producing 205 horsepower and 83 foot-pounds of torque, or 113 newton meters. Even though BMW have stuck alongside their Japanese counterparts with regard to limiting top speeds to 186 miles per hour in the US, over recent years in Europe, BMW have scrapped this idea and are now allowing the S1000RR to reach its full potential. The bike's standing quarter-mile time is 10.3 seconds and a 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds. Recorded top speeds seen on the S1000RR are just over 190 miles per hour. I was tempted to put this bike lower down on the list, as it's more comparable to the Yamaha R1 and Kawasaki ZX10R in terms of specs and power. However, with just some gearing changes, this machine can hit speeds of 220 miles per hour, so I think it deserves its spot at number 5. Honestly, nearly all the bikes mentioned so far can be switched about as they're so close in terms of performance. Number 4. Honda CBR 1000RR Fireblade. The classic, Honda's Fireblade, is perhaps one of the most well-known motorcycles next to the Hayabusa, and is one of the most revolutionary motorcycles ever made when it launched in 1992. Of course, nowadays, all the big 4 Japanese brands have motorcycles that are just as good as, if not better, than the Fireblade, depending on who you speak to. However, it is still one of the fastest motorcycles ever made to date. Honda have truly beefed up the specs of the Fireblade in recent years, with the 2020 model getting a 999.9cc 4-cylinder that produces 215 horsepower and 83 foot-pounds of torque, or 113 newton meters. This latest generation 1000RR has an estimated standing quarter-mile time of under 10 seconds and an estimated 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds. I wasn't able to find any specific recorded times for either the quarter-mile or the 0 to 60, however with specs like these you can only imagine what it's capable of. As with the other big 4, the top speed of the Fireblade is limited to 186 miles per hour. However, as with the R1, this machine must be capable of topping out well over 200 miles per hour. Number 3. Kawasaki ZR1400 or ZX14R. My beloved ZR1400. It is truly an amazing machine. From first-hand experience, this motorcycle is just epic. And it's not like a race bike. The ZZR is comfortable, powerful, and fast. It has just about everything an enthusiast needs or wants. Make sure to go check out our review of the ZR1400 in the top corner there after this video, but let's get into some specs. The ZR1400 is also popular with drag racers, with its 1441cc 4-cylinder that produces at stock 210 horsepower and 117 foot-pounds of torque, or 158 Nm. This motorcycle just has torque for days. Man, it's so good. In terms of performance, the ZZR's recorded standing quarter-mile time is 9.5 seconds and a 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds. Even though those numbers are really impressive, the ZR1400 hasn't really seen any engine changes in the last 9 years since the release of the second generation in 2012. So from that standpoint, it's actually quite outdated. Its top speed, disappointingly again, sits restricted at 186 mph, which is still crazy fast, but this monster has an extra 400 cc's over the likes of the Fireblade at its disposal, so surely it has loads more to offer, right? Well, maybe not as much as you might think. Unrestricted, a stock ZR1400 can do over 205 mph, and with a few mods, this machine should be able to hit over 220 mph in theory. However, there aren't too many people out there doing unrestricted top speed runs on the ZZR, so not many people truly know what the engine is capable of. The thing the ZR1400 has in spades is torque. It has some of the biggest torque numbers for motorcycles in the world currently. It's the torque that makes you feel like you're warping through time and space. That experience is something that cannot be measured. Number 2. Suzuki GSXR 1300R Hayabusa. Even if you're not a motorcycle person, you know what the Hayabusa is. It's the machine that put all the other motorcycle manufacturers to shame with its massive 1300cc engine and ridiculous specs for the time when it was first released in 1999. The current Hayabusa has a 1340cc 4-cylinder that produces 188 horsepower and 111 foot-pounds of torque, or 150 Nm. The standing quarter-mile time for the Hayabusa is 9.7 seconds and a 0 to 60 in 2.6 seconds, almost exactly the same as the ZR1400. The first generation Hayabusa was capable of speeds upwards of 200 miles an hour in stock form, as this was before the speed limit agreement between the Japanese manufacturers. However, nowadays the Hayabusa is also restricted to 186 miles per hour. But as we all know, this machine is used to break land speed records, so we know for sure that it's capable of over 270 miles per hour. Guy Martin is currently looking at breaking the 300 mile per hour barrier using a Hayabusa. You'll find that most other fast lists will put the ZR1400 ahead of the Hayabusa. However, I'm putting the Hayabusa in front, as even though the ZR1400 in stock form is either matching or beating the Hayabusa in nearly every metric, the Hayabusa's engine can take a lot more pressure in its cylinders, meaning that it has so much more potential to be made even faster with the likes of turbochargers, whereas the ZR1400 isn't really capable of going too much faster, even with a supercharger. There's a reason why Guy Martin uses a Hayabusa to reach ridiculous speeds rather than a ZX10R.
Number 1. The Kawasaki Ninja H2. This motorcycle is fast, truly fast. The Kawasaki Ninja H2 is currently the fastest road legal motorcycle in the world and is derived from their track-only counterpart, the H2R. Even though the Ninja H2 is nowhere near as quick as the H2R, it is still a force to be reckoned with. It has a supercharged 998cc 4-cylinder that produces 227 horsepower and 98 foot-pounds of torque, or 132 Nm. It uses the same engine as its big brother, the H2R, which produces 310 horsepower and 122 foot-pounds of torque, or 165 Nm. With performance numbers like that, we already know what the H2 is truly capable of. Top speed again is limited to 186 miles per hour from the factory. However, it has been recorded doing over 220 miles per hour unrestricted in stock form. And the top speed of the H2R was recorded upwards of 250 miles per hour. That's just insane for production motorcycles. Arguably, the Hayabusa is faster, or at least has the potential to be faster from a modding standpoint. However, this new stock platform that Kawasaki are producing in the H2 and H2R will no doubt start becoming the norm as eco standards get more strict. It won't be long until other manufacturers follow suit if they want to continue pushing ICE motorcycles even further. The Ninja H2 and H2R are a glimpse into the future of high-performance internal combustion engine motorcycles. Who knows, maybe we'll start seeing high-performance electric motorcycles becoming the norm instead of ICEs. Let me know what you think in the comments. Alright, before we finish off, here are some honourable mentions that didn't make the list for various reasons. The Dodge Tomahawk is considered to be the fastest and most powerful motorcycle ever made, with its 8.2 litre V10 engine straight out of the Dodge Viper that produced 500 horsepower and had a top speed of 420 miles per hour. This ultimate monster could do a 0 to 60 in 1.6 seconds back when it was made in 2003. However, I didn't include it in the list because it's not a motorcycle that you can buy and it was never road legal. The Kawasaki H2SX is the more touring-friendly version of the H2. It has the same 1 litre supercharged engine, however it has been slightly detuned, but it does have slightly more torque and the power band is lower in the rev range. This trade-off results in slightly less power at the top end than the H2. Of course, if the H2R was road legal from the factory, that would have made top spot for sure. The Honda Blackbird was the machine that started off the trend for larger engines and more power in sport bikes. The likes of the Hayabusa and by extension the ZR1400 were also made as a result. It sported a 1.1 litre 4-cylinder that produced 164 horsepower and reached a top speed of over 175 miles per hour. This was an absolute monster when it was first released back in 1997, and it didn't even have fuel injection. That'll do for this one, guys. Thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. And of course, let me know if you think I've been a bit unfair on some of the motorcycles on this list, as I was conflicted on where to put some of these. But yeah, let me know if your bike made the list, and also maybe if I've missed any, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.